And one of those combat tips is other useful information that will help you right from the start, then look no further, because I'm going to break down all the important stuff that I wish I knew when I first started playing the game. And of course, there are no spoilers in this video, so what I'm going to do is provide and boss footage outside of what you would have had access to in the demo. Now let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, the game's difficulty. One of the most unique things about Kazan that sets it apart from other Souls-likes is that in terms of difficulty, it has the potential to be a lot more approachable for casual gamers. After you die a couple times, you'll be prompted to change your difficulty level, picking between either easy or normal. Now, I've played around with easy mode a bit and did notice that it was slightly easier, at least in terms of how much damage the enemies were dealing and how quickly my stamina was recovering. But that's not to say this game isn't still a challenge. This is by no means story mode. Even on easy, you still need to get good at the game's core combat mechanics in order to progress. Now I know easy mode is probably going to get a lot of hate online, and true fans are going to dismiss it, anyone that uses it, but the developers put it in the game for a reason, so don't feel bad for using it. You do also have the ability to level back to easy to change accessibility settings if you start on normal. I think it's a bit too much. Or this one. Once you switch over to easy, there's no going back unless you start a brand new playthrough. And you should change the difficulty level that's right for you and fit your playstyle and your lifestyle. Now there are a few other things that stand out to me as unique because as attempts by the developers to make the game more approachable. For example, like when you fight a main game boss, you receive an amount of Lacrima each time you die. Lacrima is basically the soul's first trigger, and it lets you slowly walk the barrel. The amount of Lacrima you get is relative to how long you're able to last in the boss fight, make it all the way to phase 2, and you can gain a pretty decent amount. But to be honest, I really love this system. If we've all done that thing, we make it all the way to the boss fight, and we're just good that way, and we down there. There's nothing more soul-crushing. With Kazan, you can turn that disappointment and heartbreak into levels that you can then go into and get involved. I find this game such a refreshing system that basically eliminates the need to farm for levels. Instead, you're basically farming the boss, and you get the additional opportunities to practice it for yourself. The boss fight will also appear outside the boss, and not that chance to cash in that sweet Lacrima for additional levels before heading to the base levels. And another quick tip is that the Lacrima number in the top right corner of your screen will turn yellow when you have enough to add an additional level. That's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. Okay, now let's talk about the combat, because this really is the star of the show with Kazan. It starts out simple, but as you progress through the game, it becomes increasingly complex and a lot of fun. One of the most important combat mechanics that you can familiarize yourself with is the break guard. A successful break guard will block damage from the enemy's attack, but more importantly, it'll drain the enemy's fortitude bar, which is Kazan's version of the stagger bar. Once that fortitude bar goes all the way down, the enemy will be left exhausted, and you can move it even through what's in it. Your best windows of opportunities to deal damage and you're starting things on chain together high damage combos. This is one of the ways with the board to stay aggressive and take enough damage to get the treasure up and get geared up and it's more far and easier to otherwise you can also dodge, and by dodging at the right time you can perform a break down. This will move you out of the way of the attack and position yourself behind enemies and skill stacking damage. I use the break guard because the break guard rhyme is received from weapons mix. Break guard weapons here to have slightly effective. You might find that one works better than another. The other is an essential skill you must jump and upgrade as soon as possible because once you learn and master it, you absolutely realize a market in the game. And that skill is the reflection skill, which is in the common skill tree. Reflection skill basically adds to the character. It's the most powerful boss in the game. Fortitude bar all the way down. The is much tighter. Basically, what you're trying to do is get into the enemy's head. And once again, the animation is even longer. The combo does more with you swing. You want to press and hold down the guard button. And right, you see it start to start swing. That's why you're going to want to press R2. This is certainly a high-risk, high-reward skill to learn, and definitely will take some practice to master, but I promise you that it's worth it. Now, in terms of other skills, I would recommend going all in on a skill branch that matches your weapon. For example, I prefer to use the dual wield, and that's what I've been using most of this playthrough, and I prefer to use swift attacks or the light attacks. So I've learned the whirlwind skill and upgraded it all the way, and then went as far as to upgrade the speed of it as well. Now, another good thing about the whirlwind skill is that you can use it to jump onto ledges. I always find it kind of annoying when games don't have a jump option, so this is a fun little workaround. Now, for other skills, look to invest in spirit skills that can be assigned to your shortcut keys. You'll know these skills from the skill tree because they say command in the description. These skills are unique abilities that will cost spirit, but deal a high amount of damage. And once again, I recommend going all in on certain skills and upgrading them to their max level, rather than spreading out your skill points. And one of the other things that's great about Kazan is that you're not penalized for respecting your skill tree. You can unlearn skills at your leisure, so feel free to play around and experiment with the different skills that fit your playstyle. Now, the game does also have summons that you can use in battle, although if I'm being honest, I found this to be mostly useless. I'm not going to show any summon footage here to avoid any boss spoilers, but anytime I've used a summon, they typically just charge in and get themselves killed straight away, and don't usually do a good job at attracting the boss's aggro. Maybe this is something that gets patched in a future update to make them more effective, but for now, I found them mostly distracting. So even though I'm not a fan, let me quickly explain how this system works because it's a little bit different and does get a little confusing. Once you unlock the ability to use a summon, which happens pretty early, you'll be able to activate rifts to summon spirits. The Revenant of Adversity rifts will appear randomly around the levels and will summon a spirit to fight you. These fights generally aren't too bad. I'd say they range somewhere between a mini-boss and a boss in terms of difficulty, and once you defeat them, you'll get rewarded with a Lacrimoth circulation. The Lacrimoth circulation is an item that can be turned into a spirit of advocacy, which is a rare thing to find outside of the boss areas. Outside of collecting the items to use as summon in a boss fight though, I'm not sure that there's any purpose in fighting these Revenants of Adversity, so if you don't plan on using summons, you can just skip these altogether. Now when it comes to leveling up your character and creating your build, there's a few things you want to keep in mind, because once again, I think there's some unique things here to this system that make it a little bit different. Each of the stats essentially have a primary and secondary benefits to them, which makes it incredibly flexible, but might also make it a little bit confusing. Vitality focuses on your health and your attribute resistances, but also gives a small boost to your weight and attack damage. Endurance focuses on your stamina and your stamina recovery rate, but also gives a small boost to health and attack damage. Strength focuses on your weight and your stamina damage decrease, while also giving you a small bump in health and attack damage. Willpower focuses on attack damage and guard stamina damage decrease, while also giving a small boost to your health and bumping up your stamina recovery rate. And proficiency focuses on the stamina damage increase, which is the amount of stamina damage you're able to deal to the enemy, and the dodge damage cost decrease, with health and damage also being secondary benefits. So which of these is the most important, and which stats do you level up first? Well, that really depends on you, your playstyle, and your weapon. The first overall stat that I would prioritize over anything else is endurance to help you get your stamina up. Now, this goes a little bit contrary to what you typically see in games like this, where you prioritize vitality, but each stat will also give you a small boost to your health, so I would actually recommend not vitality unless you're really struggling with this. Try to keep your endurance up as high as possible, so stamina in a remaining game. And second, look to see which stat your weapon scales highest to. I like using the dual wield, which has B scaling for willpower, so willpower is the second stat that I'll mostly be upgrading. If you like the spear, you want to prioritize proficiency, and with the greatsword, strength. These are going to be the primary stats around putting together your build, and then you want to upgrade all the other skills around those ones. Now, interestingly, if you played the demo, scaling for demo weapons is still the highest in the entire game, at least so far from what I've done in my playthrough. You see that the willpower is scaling for plus, whereas all other dual wields are B. And the same is true for the spear and the greatsword. I'm sure this is a bug and something that will probably get patched in a further update, but just know that if you play for the demo, the weapons you collected there are still probably the strongest ones in the entire game, so be sure to hang on to those for as long as it is patched. Now, early on, this is a lot of information to take in, and you're like, sometimes this leads to analysis paralysis where you spend way too much time trying to figure out where to level up because you don't want to make a wrong decision that can come back to haunt you. So if that's you, I encourage you to really not overthink it. There's an item you'll collect early on, the Primeval Regression Orb, that gives you the ability to respec your levels. You should be able to collect at least one of these by the time you get to the Blade Phantom, and then not too much further past that, you'll be on merchandise that can send you 3 additional additional orbs. So that's getting access to 4 of these pretty early on, so don't stress out if you feel like you get that you your level. Another thing you get access to early on is the codex. 12 rundown using different types of fakes. You can see that information about a specific enemy type is what you're. But more importantly, there are less additions here that you can understand. And you do have to go back into the codex to collect that automatically given to you, so be sure that you remember you know you're doing that. Now, from the Blade Nexus, you also get access to cosmic memories. This will give you a summary area that you can see that there, the game doesn't really play it out. And from there, you can eventually some stats that expand the damage increase, and damage increase multiplier. To collect vengeance points, you can basically check off the previous quests, side quests, and wider in that region. Find everything that has offered your rewarded with vengeance points. This helps add a little extra incentive to make sure that you're exploring the area fully and finding everything that's possible. But the main thing is all little on the fact that you upgrade your stats very well and to make sure you're not missing out. Okay, and those are all the tips and tricks that I wish I knew when I first got started with the first positive. Well, if you help me with this, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comment. Please subscribe to the first comment. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And as the first Berserker Kazan video, I'm going to be running you guys through how to use the spear in this game, what my spear build is, what's working for me. People seem to like the great sword video. So my spear one here, one afterward. And I'm going to just kind of run you through the ins and outs of what seems to work with this weapon. So just like the previous video, the first thing I want to talk about is the scaling of the weapon. Spears scale with proficiency and willpower predominantly. You can get damage from strength as well, but proficiency is going to give you 3 points of damage per point, and willpower will give you 2. Proficiency will also give you 5 max health. It will give you stamina damage increase of 0.3%, and it will also reduce your dodge stamina cost by 0.4%. This is really important, the stamina damage, because as you're going to see in my gameplay, a lot of what you're doing as a spear user is breaking the stamina of things. Like, that's kind of your focus, whereas the greatsword had a focus on charged attacks. The spear's focus is on exhausting enemies and then getting brutal attacks, or just continuing to juggle them. And additionally, whereas the greatsword is more of a guard and ring guard focused weapon, spears tend to dodge more, and this allows you to reduce your dodge cost, which is great. Willpower, on the other hand, gives you more health, gives you double the health that proficiency gives you, so if you need health, this is not a bad option. Also gives you stamina recovery, which is very important in order to continue your long combo chains, and to be able to, get back into the offensive rhythm of combat after you've exhausted all of your stamina. It also increases the boost in current stamina damage that you take by 0.7%. So this is like boosting your This is not bad to have, but I would just say that proficiency is a lot more useful, because stamina damage is more than stamina in this build, even though it makes sense to and of course endurance and vitality are so beneficial. Endurance, I think, is more important to juggle enemies a lot, so you can hit a lot less. And endurance is also good for your stamina recovery, and you extra stamina as well. Endurance is probably a valuable stat for a spear user early in the game. Proficiency is not bad to get your damage up. You definitely want to focus on endurance really often in order to get that stamina recovery and to get more stamina. So moving on to the skills, I'll start with the 2 active skills that I'm using first, and then I'll move on to the passive playstyle of this weapon. Keep in mind that you can use whatever skills you want to, just the ones that I like. The first skill is Shadow Strike, and this kind of attacks twice rapidly for 1 spirit, but what I really like is the Shadow Strike from upgrade, which allows you to basically do a high attack in front of you, deal damage, and then get behind the target, position you greatly in order to attack other people if they're kind of in a defensive position. And I use this far more offensively than modifying the attack positioning rather than damage. This is a great way to turn the tide into battle where an enemy is pressing down on you, you don't have the space that you only have with a spear, and suddenly you're in an offensive position where you're prone to hurt. Another alternative, if you don't like Shadow Strike, though, is Phantom Heatwave. I don't think you can make a spear video without mentioning this skill. It's a very popular skill because what it does is it auto-print cards for you for a very short period of time. You can get an upgrade that will actually make it so you can use it back-to-back, so you can bring card combos and things like that. There's a good defensive skill like Shadow Strike, but it also provides a buff to
your Moonlight attacks and your Full Moon attacks. So it's not only going to be a defensive skill for you, but it'll be an offensive buff as well, and that should increase your damage as well. So if you don't like Shadow Strike, consider Phantom Heatwave. The other skill I like for this build is Eagle Wind. This allows me to expend up to 3 Spirit to attack 3 times in a row. What I find is that you need at least one offensive Spirit skill in order to kind of play the playstyle that I'm playing, which is to keep your combo chains going. A lot of times, particularly early on in the game, you don't quite have enough stamina to get all the way through your attack chain and exhaust an enemy before you can do a brutal attack. And so once your stamina is emptied, you can use an attack skill like Eagle Wind. It doesn't have to be Eagle Wind, to continue to get the rest of that stamina off so you can get your brutal attack. So let's talk about the typical playstyle of the Spear. The Spear revolves around using something called Moonlight Stance. You always want to have Moonlight Stance active when you're playing as a Spear user. And so your playstyle is going to revolve around getting this buff, keeping this buff, and making as much use of this buff as you can. Now, the typical way that you gain this buff is by taking Moonlight, obviously, and then attacking the filter. So attack site X, 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 or square, and then you'll have this buff. Now, this buff only lasts 15 seconds. What it does is it makes it so that every time you attack, you have an Afra image that makes it well. This is going to increase your damage and performance, not only in terms of damage, but also stamina damage.
Me cago en la madre, coño.
To maximize your damage when you're doing your combos. This makes Moonlight Stance Vitality particularly good because it increases your stamina recovery when Moonlight Stance is up, which will allow you to combo chain longer or get back into the fray sooner after you've exhausted all of your stamina, so you're definitely going to want this. Additionally, as you get further down into the skill tree, as you get higher and higher level, Moonlight Stance Persistence will allow you to increase the duration of Moonlight Stance by 3 seconds after you perform a Brink Dodge or Brink Guard. You will Brink Guard sometimes, and you will Brink Dodge a lot, so this is a good upgrade as well. And Moonlight Step is a fantastic passive upgrade that's going to let you dodge twice in a row. Like, it'll let you dodge back-to-back while you're in Moonlight Stance. And since you should be in Moonlight Stance like 99% of the time when you're in a boss fight, this just gives you So next, let's talk about Full Moon. Full Moon is so important for this build, and that's because what it does is it changes your charge, triangle your charge by attacking to a different attack. And this attack is absolutely deadly. It does tons of stamina damage, which is great. But it also, a lot of times, puts the enemies in some bosses into a staggered state that allows you to keep just them so that you can get long combos off on them without them having the opportunity to respond. Like you see gameplay of the Viper fight where I'm fighting in phase 1. He literally can't get out of my jumps because every time I do a brutal attack to regain all my stamina, I leave with this attack, putting him back into the staggered state. Eventually, you'll want to upgrade this with Crimson Strike and Moonlight Stance Round. Moonlight Stance Round is going to increase the effectiveness of this skill the more Moonlight Stance that you have, and since if you're making Moonlight Stance Persistence, you can get higher and higher seconds, up to 30 seconds. This will potentially make this skill So next, we're going to take a look at Bible Strike. This is kind of like a running attack that plunges your spirit into the ground. I find this typically interrupts enemies more often than your typical running attack, so I like to lead with this one on facing one enemy, the regular running sprint attack, then which is good for multiple enemies when you're facing one. This can tend to stagger them more often than not, and if you upgrade it, it'll just be more damage to the point with the enemy. This is a great way to like lead off combat into some bosses. So next we're going to talk about Zero Point, and what Zero Point does is instead of during a potent blow or during Bible Strike is that so after you use something like Full Moon or after you use Bible Strike, if you hit square or you hit X on Xbox, it's going to poke 3 times rapidly, which is fantastic. This is just from one button press. And then if you press the square again, you will do the final attack of your attack chain, which will refresh your Moonlight Stance duration if you need it, or you can press triangle to use Assault or Shadow Reversal if you have those skills. You can use Assault in this, so that works out really well. And that brings us to Assault and Shadow Reversal. We'll talk about Shadow Reversal first. I don't use Shadow Reversal with this build. I messed around with it quite a bit. What this skill does is allows you to follow a swift attack triangle that will put you behind an enemy if you stagger them or you break their stance, allowing you to be behind them and then attack them quickly. Usually when you're attacking enemies from behind, they're taking more damage.
Kisma.
se me empiezan a preguntar con este cabrón. Empiezan otra cosa, cabrón, del principio, ¿no? Ah, vete mal carajo. Me mató. Eita, mas caramba, pra mim. Tá no meio até. Olha. Cavolo, lei.
The power of Isma.
Dai, la quota. Y esto que está aquí yo lo uso porque se oye los pasos y todo, como juegas Call of Duty. Esto, se oyen los pasos y todo bien brutal. Tengo bastante dinero porque no hay problema. Salió el viernes, vamos. Y está todo el mundo jugando. Pero está difícil con el carajo. Es como ese, la de. Mira cómo se ve. Pero es bien difícil, bien difícil. Tenía un matar ahora, ese matar ya lo mataría como 10 veces. Está bien difícil. Ya le mato el primer, porque son dos face o three face. Lo único que puedo matar es más que uno. Mira. Look at that shit. No, está demasiado difícil, bro. How will you do? Any money? Tip? That's good. Look at that. No, not yet. I gotta take the whole knife. Yep. It's fucking hard, bro. Get there. Yeah, they're not fucking hard, bro. Look at this. Fuck, bro. I just wanted to see the second face, para que tú veas cómo se pone. Yeah, bigger. And the arm se pone bien grandote también, el brazo de allá. He got different, like, una espada más grande. Fuck. Damn, bitch. Look at that. He almost died. Look at that.
Got it. Going right.
Mm-hmm. Watch. Come on, bitch. Haha. Look at that.
The power of Hisma.
Look at that shit.
Snowing.
Yeah.
Got it more close.
No. Fuck. Diablo. ¿Sí? Va a tener que irme para otro mundo y ponerlo un poquito más fuerte. It's too much.
That's what I did on there.
It's too much. Aquí me da, tengo que buscar uno de estos porque me da, aquí tú puedes, like, ¿tú ves? Tú apretas eso y te ayuda otro muñeco, sí, este muñeco te ayuda.
Que agarrar.
Yeah, es como un corazón. Para mí que esto pues, es mucho. Oh, look, I got 3 done. You can do upgrade para él, puedes darle upgrade a las armas. Son 3 diferentes armas que puedes usar. Look. Yeah. ¿Sí?
Oh,
A
so
Spear, Big Soul y dos espadas.
I think I'm gonna use that.
¿Sí?
That one is cool.
Puedes hacer un power como esto así. Yeah, yeah, wow, shit. Mira esto, ¿no? Cuando le das el monstruo hace mucho. Hace un montón de cuchillazos. Mira este monstruo que está aquí, grande. Wow. ¿Sí?
Oh,
Sí. ¿Sí? Look at that. Well, you gotta be fast, bro. You gotta be fast. Look at that. Que no trajo para nuevo. Los zapatos. It's a good game, bro. Está bueno, pero está demasiado difícil. Ellos me dieron esto cuando la compré. La ropa que te dan cuando you pre-order the game.
that is too heavy.
Yeah, it's too heavy. La tenía puesta temprano y está que yo bien lento cogiendo. Oh, it's a good game. It's a good game. You can download it for you too.
Yeah. Playing on my time.
It's a good game. Empecé a pelear con es como si fuera un monkey, un simo bien grande que empezó. Al principio me mató como 3 veces y después de cogí el truco. Está hecho bien cabrón. You gotta escapar, like, disappear all the time every time they try to hit you. Y es la única forma que puedes ganarle rápido. O si no, bloquea y le quita la vida también muy rápido.
Claro que hacen ese
Yeah.
ataque. Good shit.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Ay, si me compraste algo para tomar, ¿qué tienes?
Rook. Onde está, Oli? Oi, vai no meu vídeo de agradecimento.
Oi,
Fala
Carlos,
minha
você-
boa noite, Daniel. Vamos ver.
¿Ya? Lo vi.